Good afternoon, Facebook family and friends and YouTube subscribers. Today I am with Samuel P Holloway III. He's the writer of a book that I did a couple of videos on how it all happened. In Eyes Without a Face, he's written 2 books about his experiences. Quentin, what were these books about?
These books are about my life.
So it's autobiography.
Yeah, they're both autobiographies, true stories, real names. I just talk about things that the Black community don't want to talk about, things that make us feel uncomfortable, and I just wanted to shed light and just tell exactly how it is.
Because the book's mainly about you being molested at a very early age.
Yes, molestation, abuse, sexual abuse, domestic violence, rape, incest.
So it's some very deep books. I did some videos about them. You can go back and look at the videos. The books again is how it all happened.
And Eyes Without a Face.
And so you can see the videos, and it goes in great detail. We did 2 videos in regards to these books. But today we're going to talk about Atlanta, Georgia, and sexual addiction and sex parties. And this is going to be an explicit conversation. So those of you who cannot take explicit conversations or you're uncomfortable, that you might want to, or if you're in a room with other people and you don't want this conversation discussed, you can put on you some headphones or something. All right, because Atlanta has a problem. They have a problem with sexual addiction. They have a lot of sex parties, a lot of sex. There's a ton of sex going on here in Atlanta in the Black gay community, and so we're going to discuss a lot of stuff. You told me some of the details about these sex parties that take place here in Atlanta.
During Pride, I want to say this was 2012, 2013. During my single time.
Okay.
I had went to Pride with a group of friends, and after Pride was over, we went to an after party, and it was at the Den. Being a first-time person going to the Den, you don't know what to expect. You hear everything about it, but if you haven't been there, you don't know.
Gotcha.
So we went to the Den and paid our little $20 admission fee, where you get a club membership card too.
Okay.
And
so it's like a private club.
Yeah, it's a private club. It's after hours. It's like about 1 o'clock in the morning, and it lasts until the sun comes up, basically.
Okay. So you pay $20. You go inside. You get a locker. Is like a bathhouse or room house.
Yes, it's just like a bathhouse.
So
you walk in through the door. After you pay your money, somebody else lets you through this next door, and it leads you to the locker room. And there's a shower to the left and things like that.
Okay, so people be in the shower showering.
Yeah, they could be in the shower showering, or they're right there in the locker room stripping, taking off their clothes, getting ready to go into this next phase.
All right, so the next phase, do you have to be nude, or how is that?
You have to undress. I think you don't have to be nude. You can wear boxer shorts and a t-shirt. They give you a towel, lube, and condoms.
Okay. So the whole intent of this place is to do what?
Have sex.
Okay, so it's a sex club.
Yeah, it's a sex club.
Private sex club. So if you're undressed, you go into the other room. You said go into the next phase of the adventure. What happens?
The next phase of the adventure. It all depends on where you're walking into the club. You can be it's a maze. It's a lot of like cubicle settings. And to the right, if you go to the right, there's a lot of doors, like privacy doors, little rooms, and they have like beds on the floors and things like that. To the left, they have a blackout room, and basically in there, everybody's just having sex. When you walk through the mazes, they have like little beds, the sex sling, and just people doing whatever they're doing within the maze.
All right, so how many people do you think were there that night you were there?
This was Pride. So, Atlanta is the Black gay mecca.
So this is Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, this is Labor Day weekend. I would say it had to be, this place was packed. I'm going to say like 500.
500 people?
Like 500.
Wow. I've heard these numbers. That's a lot of people. Were you able to move around? And, that's a lot of people in that place. But I've heard that they have these huge crowds of hundreds of guys in there.
Yeah.
What does the guys look like?
You have a variety of guys. I've heard about some sex parties on Facebook to where you have to fit a certain criteria in order to get in. Meaning that you got to be
fat, can't be film.
No fat, no film, no ugly people. So meaning that you got to be, buff, got a nice body, you masculine, and just attractive. But in this club, it was just a array of people.
So they all paid to get into it.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what you look like, you can get in.
Okay. Do they have a bar in there or anything like that? Are they serving drinks, or is it just?
I didn't see that.
Okay. So no drinks. So people in there just. So what did you see?
I seen a lot of people just having sex.
Okay.
It was like, for me, just walking around, and whatever you want to see, or even if you didn't want to see it, it was there to be seen.
Guys in there fucking, sucking.
Yeah, everything. Threesomes, group sex. I mean, like the sex sling, just people standing around waiting in line to be next in line to fuck whoever was in the sling.
Oh, wow. So, because I'm thinking of a sex thing is like a swing, so somebody would climb up in there and guys would line up to screw this individual. Well, how would you describe these guys? Were they attractive guys? Were they
Yes. I've seen attractive guys. I've seen ugly guys. I've seen guys that had a wedding band on too.
Okay, so they were most of the guys you would say you would have messed around with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And were they using condoms? Any type of protection? Yes. No.
I didn't see condoms being used.
Okay, so
now, I like I said, when you come through the door, they provide you with condoms, lube, and a towel. But everything that I saw was all raw.
So nobody. So you're basically saying you were in a room with close to 500 people. Everybody fucking sucking, doing everything, and nobody was using condoms.
Not one person I saw. I ain't seen no used condoms either.
Okay.
But I saw a lot of nuts things.
So people was coming and ejaculating all over the place.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I can't say everybody was come in them, but I know everybody was coming.
Okay, of course. Well, that's the whole purpose of having sex, is to ejaculate at some point. So I can imagine they was coming all over there. But what was the odor like in this place? You remember?
I really don't remember the smell. I just remember it being extremely hot.
I can imagine 500 people.
Yeah, it was extremely hot, and I remember, when you first walk in, they have a 60-inch TV, and it was just playing porn.
Okay.
And there's music playing, and like techno music playing in the background.
Were all these black guys?
Yes.
No.
I mean, I've seen it probably maybe 5 or 6 white people. I didn't see any Asians, but it's predominantly us in there.
Okay, so because I've seen the exterior of that building, and 500 people could fit in that building. Is it that big?
I'm probably exaggerating when I say 500. Let's just say it was packed. Like, you had to, excuse me, my fault. You know what I mean?
But you're just saying the person next to you having sex as you're trying to get through. Wow.
Yeah.
So, what type of person do you think participates in this type? So, I've never been to a sex party before. I've heard about it, been invited to a whole lot of them. Y'all please stop sending me them invitations, because I'm not going. Unless y'all got a viewing section up in the stands with some popcorn. That's the only way I'm going to sex parties I can watch.
I would say anybody would go there, because if you don't know what you're going into, if you don't know what the den is, you wouldn't know that you're going to a sex party.
Okay.
And at that time, I didn't know what the den was. I just knew that I was going to an after party for the pride. And once you get in, and when you get to that locker room, you know what the hell is going on at that point.
You see everybody stripping naked.
Yes.
So a lot of these guys just don't care here.
No. It to me is don't ask, don't tell, raw is law.
They don't want to use condoms.
No.
What is it about guys in Atlanta, in their refusal to use protection and condoms? What do you think psychologically is going through? Psychologically, what's going through a person's mind? Why would they not want to use condoms? What is it? Is it the desire to? Because whenever I have sex and I use condoms, to me, I can't tell the difference from using the condom or not using the condom. Now, that's just me personally, but why do you think so many guys want and will participate in high-risk raw sexual behavior?
I believe that people participate in raw sex behavior because they have low self-esteem. Something has happened to them in their life where they did not cope. They didn't deal with that situation. So they don't care about the outcome of life. Most of the time you see people that are unemployed. They don't have a place to stay. They don't have a car, They don't have a future. They don't have any goals planned for them. So they don't care.
So, but I've met guys who...
And I've met guys that have been on top, educated, that's very articulate, that knows, just
they would know better
from everything, and they still do it too. To me, it's like the slave days all over again, where the master puts you out there to have sex and to reproduce, but you're not reproducing.
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying? It's just all for a nut. Period. Point blank.
Okay. Do you think that a lot of this has to do with sexual addiction?
Yes, you got to be sexually addicted to go out and have unprotected sex, knowing that HIV is running rampant within our communities.
Well, okay. You think these guys do you think they don't care about contracting HIV,
or they already have it and they don't care? It's just that.
Okay.
Either they have it, they don't have it, and if they don't have it, they don't care.
Okay. So you mentioned to me something about sex groups on Facebook, because I've seen these sex groups. I've been added to these sex groups, and I've seen this crazy shit.
I think we all have been added to sex groups on Facebook.
And there's a whole lot of stuff going on. People posting videos, people posting meeting people, and do you think Facebook and social media plays a significant part in people having these sexual addiction problems?
Yeah,
because it's so readily available.
It helps them out. If you don't get it from Facebook, you can go on Jack, Adam, Grindr. What is that? Plenty of Fish.
I've heard about that.
POF.
That's supposed to be for straight people. Have you ever been on there and met guys through Plenty of Fish? Yeah. Okay. So, when you were at these sex parties, did you participate, or did you just kind of look?
I watched.
You just watched.
I was intrigued.
Okay.
This was something new for me. This was my first time I'm 37 years old, and this was my first time in my life going to a sex party. My husband, which I wrote about in my first book, Eyes Without a Face, that was his thing, and I didn't find out till after we broke up that what a bathhouse was. I was always like, what the hell is a bathhouse?
It's funny because I have a lot of friends who go to sex parties and they brag about it and they tell me they don't have any issue with. You got to be a voyeuristic type person to go into a room with complete strangers, strip down naked, allow a man to penetrate you, or you penetrate him, no condoms used. It's just kind of is it the thrill of it all?
That's what I'm thinking. It's the thrill. It's the rush. It's the fact that you've conquered another person.
Do you think a lot of guys here in Atlanta participate in this type of stuff?
I believe that over half the guys here in Atlanta participate in it. Like I said, I've been added to a lot of groups on Facebook where there are sex parties. And when I look at these people, some of the people that I know, and they're like the average everyday people. And you wouldn't suspect that they would be in this particular group doing these things, but they are.
I've heard about these sex parties. People have their homes and houses and events like that. They still also get these same large groups of people?
Yes, yeah. Anywhere from 50 to 100 people. They're charging $5 to $10 at the doors. Bring your own bottle. They provide condoms and things like that. I've never been to a house sex party, so I don't know. But only from looking at the messages on Facebook and the flyers that I just showed you.
I've seen the flyers. So, do you think people are having these parties? The people who are throwing these events, do you think they're doing this for financial gain?
Yeah. I'm in a group in Chicago that has a lot of sex parties, and usually.
So this is not just happening.
Oh no, this is not just in Atlanta. I believe this is in every state. You're going to find this everywhere. It's not just isolated here. Mm-hmm. This is just the gay mecca, and we live here, so we see it more than others. Exactly. But in Chicago, they have gay sex parties, and if it's how we can be petty with each other in the gay community. If they don't like the person that's hosting a party, they're going to talk about them after the party. They didn't have the right hors d'oeuvres for us because we're bottoms, or they charge $15 to $20 because they were trying to pay their rent. Things like that.
So at these sex parties, that's an element interesting. You have the tops and bottoms are people who are versatile. So I'm assuming that everybody's doing whatever they want to do at these parties. Have you ever walked into a party and saw something that, when you were at the den, did you see anything that kind of shocked you or surprised you? I've
only been to one party, and at the den, I was very shocked. I felt like that this was beyond me, you know. I felt like, I'm old. I'm old in the sense of in my 30s, but this is something that I've never witnessed before. I've only heard about it.
Well,
And to see the things that I saw,
people,
their age range varied. I'm going to say from anywhere from in your younger 20s to you being 50. You know, I saw older men. I saw real young looking boys. And I just saw too much that I wasn't ready for.
Gotcha.
You know?
I can imagine. It's like I said, I want to be in the view and say,
yeah. I saw somebody that, you know, it was like one person on the bottom. And it was a person behind them. And another.
So go into this. You saw one person on the bottom being screwed by one guy.
Being fucked.
So one guy was fucking the guy at the bottom.
Yes. And then another guy came behind and started fucking him.
Okay.
And then another guy came behind and started fucking him. And then another guy came behind and started fucking him.
So it
was like four people
fucking each other.
Fucking each other. Just in one big.
And these are attractive guys, you think?
Everybody that was in Atlanta was attractive. Yeah, I thought they were very attractive. Mm-hmm. And not one had on a condom. Wow.
Very interesting. Anybody, did you recognize anybody?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
And what did they say when they saw you? Were they like shy? Were they
it was... I think that when you see somebody in the den, you are expecting them to be on the same level that you're on.
Gotcha. Because otherwise they wouldn't be there.
Exactly. So it was just, you know, hey, what up, you know? You see anybody that you like, you know, it was a mutual feeling like, you know, hey, how you doing? You know, what's going on?
Did they move again, or is it still in the same location? I know they're built.
The last time I went, it was by Club Cream, like out there, like.
Oh, so they did move it out that way. Because I used to be off of Cheshire Bridge Road, so they moved it up Buford Highway now.
Maybe it is Cheshire. You know, I don't really know Atlanta like that.
So yeah, it was off Cheshire Bridge Road.
I know it was secluded. It was off in the back, wherever we turned off the street.
They built some condos across the street from them. I'm just curious to know the white folks. They built some 400,000 and 500,000 condos right across the street. I don't know if you've been by there recently. Yeah,
no.
I'm trying to figure out white folks sitting over there, and white folks sitting in that window like, what are them niggas doing?
What the hell is going on over here?
What are they doing? Sex parties in Atlanta, is that one of the reasons why so many of these guys are single?
Yes, because you have so many options. There are so many people that you can get involved with. I mean, if you don't find it in a sex party, you can just look on Jack. You can look on A for A. You can look on Grindr. You can look on POF. Everything is just so readily available to you.
Mm-hmm. What about drug use?
All that is available to you too. You can get.
Were they using drugs at the den that night? Do you know?
No. I don't think you can. I mean, unless you're bringing in coke, but I think that's like a smoke free zone.
Okay.
So yeah, or you could be doing meth.
You said there was a black room inside the room, a pitch black room.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just pitch black. You can't see nothing. You can only hear. That's it, and touch and feel.
So you didn't even know who you had sex with.
You do not know nothing. When I went into that room, it was straight black. All that I could do was just hear people.
Was it crowded in your room too?
Yeah. Excuse me. You know, like you felt a lot when you walked into that room.
Mm-hmm. Are these guys being reckless, you think?
I mean, when you're having unprotected sex, you are reckless.
So let's say that they were, some of these guys were positive and some of them were negative. Are they even, because I kind of get the impression that some people feel like if you're HIV positive, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want to at this point. But aren't they putting themselves
at a deeper risk? Because even if you are HIV positive, you still may have a different strand than the other person. And that strand that person gives you after you have unprotected sex can bring down your T cell count. It can also raise your viral load. So just because two guys are positive does not mean that you can go hamburger at all.
Right. So they should be using
protection. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Truvada, I feel that a lot of people here in Atlanta, they say they're on Truvada, but they're really not. And then if they are on Truvada, they feel as if they are excluded or they are immune to having HIV.
So you think Truvada is giving people the assumption that they can go out and have a much more
they can do whatever they want to do and not catch it because they're taking this pill, which that's not the use for the pill. That's not what it is.
No, they're supposed to use that pill with condoms. Mm-hmm. So we're going to, and this is part one, and we're going to continue this conversation in a minute, because we're right around 20 minutes. So I want you to think about some questions about some of the stuff. With the Facebook groups, I'm curious about the people that you've met through Facebook, because you mentioned that some people have a two sides to themselves.
Yes.
They put this clean image on Facebook, and then they get these sex groups, and they're completely different. So we'll be back in a few minutes to discuss.